the short rows in the pattern are calculated so they all end when the last flower ends. Some of the sizes have a few extra rows on top of the flower for added length, just like this one will. This was my last short row. I finished the flower. In this size 10, I will need to work extra 2 rows in pattern, just like we did at the bottom here on top of the flower for added length. And then I'm going to switch to a smaller needle and knit 8 rows for the rolled edge on the top, just like over here. And I'm going to see you here again to show you the bind off technique I use. It's almost finished. I worked the rolled edge on a smaller needle and I did most of the bind off, and I just wanted to show you how I bind off. This arrangement. The bind off is straightforward here. Regular knitwise bind off where you going to actually have the first stitch already knitted. You knit a stitch, you put a stitch over it, knit a stitch, put a stitch over it, knit another stitch, all the way to the last stitch. I'm going to show you after this how to weave in the ends and close the last stitches so they look nice and finished circle. We got to the last stitch. I'm going to knit the last stitch, put this stitch over it, pull a little bit longer, then I'm gonna loop, make another stitch out of it, and cut the yarn. So now we have to finish this circle so it looks seamless and nice. Take the yarn needle with a big ear and a blunt end so it doesn't split the yarns. So here's what we're doing here. To finish this circle, we want to make another loop to connect these stitches in between. We're going to put the needle through the last stitch. You see the one that is actually coming out. It's not even a stitch. I think it's the half a stitch from the first stitch. And I'm going to pull through under both legs. And now we're going to go back into the top of this stitch. And you pull on it, and voila, look. It makes a perfect seam here. Now we're going to weave in this end. This is the right side of the tank top, but the rolled edge is going to roll on this part. So we're actually gonna weave this tail on the right side and the inside, just inside the rolled edge, or you can go into the edge, but we don't want it to look too thick, so it's not gonna show. So I'm going to just weave through the few stitches right here. I'm gonna do like this. But cotton yarn is slippery, and during the wash it may still come out, this end. Even if it was wool, I would cut this without hesitation. But for cotton, I'm going to go down on it just to secure it for a little bit longer. So I turn around. You see, I stopped right before the beginning of the knit 3 purl 1 pattern, and I'm going to go back. Just pick up every stitch like the edges of it and go with the needle through them. There you go. Just pull through now. Now I can cut this without hesitation. It's not going anywhere. We're gonna let this edge roll, and you can even hardly find the back of the tank top right now. And we are going to do the same with the bottom. If you were not changing in yarns and knitting from one ball, you literally have just 2 ends to take care of, besides of course the straps. Those will have to be sewed in. But on the tank top itself, there's only 2 ends. Connect it into here. And now I'm going to do the same weaving like I did on the top of the cardie.